Hello, this is Sally's Book Talk. Tune in daily for the best books, bringing you global literary treasures. Today, we're diving into Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. First published in Hebrew in 2012, it was soon translated into over 30 languages and spread worldwide. It captivated both academia and the general public, topping bestseller lists across nations. President Obama carried it on vacation, while Bill Gates couldn't put it down and highly recommended it. This phenomenon is Yuval Noah Harari's Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. What makes this book so extraordinary? Why has it resonated so powerfully? How does it differ from other accounts of human history? Rather than just chronicling verified facts, it examines human evolution from a species-level perspective with vivid storytelling. It weaves together physics, chemistry, biology, psychology, politics, and ecology into its narrative. Many assume the author is elderly, but Harari was only in his late 30s when writing this. After earning his Oxford for H.D. in 2002, he returned to teach at Hebrew University of Jerusalem, becoming a celebrated scholar. Without further ado, let's explore Sapiens. Harari answers three fundamental questions. Where do we come from? How did we dominate? Where are we headed? First, humanity's origins. Most recall textbook answers about apes evolving into humans. But that's only half the story. Harari clarifies. Our direct ancestors were African Homo sapiens. Their hominid predecessors had already existed for 2.5 million years before Sapiens emerged. 2 million years ago, some Australopithecines began migrating from Africa to various parts of the world. These hominids' biggest advantage over other animals was their larger brain capacity, quickly mastering tool-making and fire usage. But big brains slowed movement and required more energy, making them prey for predators for millions of years. Don't mistake these hominids for our ancestors. True Homo sapiens ancestors only emerged 150,000 years ago. Over millennia, Sapiens expanded to Arabia around 70,000 years ago, later dominating Eurasia, Oceania, and America, outcompeting other human species. You might ask, what gave Sapiens the edge over other humans? Actually, Sapiens' first African exodus failed against Neanderthals until cognitive revolution 70,000 years ago enabled global dominance. The cognitive revolution brought advanced language, enabling stable groups over 50 members through effective communication. This allowed tribal groups to reach 150 members. This linguistic breakthrough granted sapiens magical imagination capabilities. They could create and spread fictional narratives. Like we mentioned, monkeys understanding warnings about real lions nearby. While monkeys grasp concrete dangers, they can't comprehend abstract concepts like heaven for banana sharing. Messages about afterlife rewards make no sense to creatures lacking imagination. Only imaginative sapiens could understand and spread such concepts. With imagination, sapiens transcended isolated tribal existence. Shared fictional stories enabled cooperation among thousands of strangers towards common goals. This explains how sapiens outcompeted other humans without this linguistic advantage. Today's massive nations and cities originated from these shared imagined realities. Ultimately, human civilization began with fictional stories born from our imagination. Alright, let's summarize the first section, addressing our primary question. Where do we humans come from? In summary, modern humans originated from Sapiens, who experienced a crucial clonable revolution 70,000 years ago, enabling unified cooperation. Essentially, the Clonable Revolution 70,000 years ago marks humanity's true historical beginning. Though the revolution enabled global dominance, primitive societies remain vastly different from modern civilizations. So how did humanity develop into what we are today? Let's examine the author's explanation. After overcoming other human species, sapiens expanded globally through collective intelligence and unity. Yet their nomadic, hunter-gatherer lifestyle remained unchanged for millennia. This changed 12,000 years ago with the Drotting Agricultural Revolution. Archaeological evidence shows this transition began between 9,500 BC to 8,500 BC. In the Middle Eastern hills, modern-day southeast Turkey, western Iran, and eastern Mediterranean coasts, wheat became the first domesticated plant, with goats as the earliest tamed animals during this period. Global domestication of species gradually replaced foraging, creating permanent farming villages. Humans devoted themselves to cultivation for better food supplies. Daily routines became structured around crop cycles, planting, watering, weeding, and herding from dawn till dusk. Agriculture remains humanity's survival foundation even today. Scholars consider this revolution humanity's great leap forward through intellectual advancement. People unlocked nature's secrets, secured stable food sources, and established prosperous, settled lives. However, Harari disagrees with this perspective. He argues the agricultural revolution was actually a deception for humanity. Why? Harari maintains that agricultural societies actually reduced living standards rather than improving them. While food production increased, population growth outpaced it, leaving many still hungry. People's diets became limited to domesticated species, unlike the varied foraging diet. Agricultural life meant endless field labor from dawn to dusk. Physically demanding work left women no time for childcare or nesting. A child mortality soared. Only a third died before age 20. Dense village populations became breeding grounds for epidemics and plagues. Humanity's pursuit of better life ironically degraded living conditions. Harari suggests wheat domesticated humans rather than vice versa. He draws modern parallels, using email as an example. While email solved slow communication, they created new pressures. Daily dozens demand immediate responses, increasing stress and anxiety. Does email truly improve our lives? Regardless of evaluation, the agricultural revolution was an irreversible historical milestone. What major transformations followed the agricultural revolution? 3 key developments: writing systems, nation-states, and human unification. These 3 fundamental shifts. First, the invention of writing. Recall Sapiens developed advanced language 70,000 years ago. But knowledge remained oral and brain-dependent for millennia. But as human brains needed to remember more information like grain storage quantities, memory became insufficient. Between 3,500–3,000 BC, Sumerians in Mesopotamia first invented writing systems. Early written symbols were numerical, initially serving as memory aids rather than full linguistic representations. By 2500 BC, cuneiform script emerged, enabling accurate language recording and information dissemination. Now let's examine state formation. Agricultural societies evolved from villages to cities, ultimately forming nation-states through population aggregation. Egypt's first dynasty emerged around 3100 BC, with pharaohs ruling hundreds of thousands. The Akkadian Empire, 2250 BC, governed over 1 million people through agricultural surplus and trade systems. Previously mentioned, fictional narratives crucially maintained these large states. Imagined legal systems and national orders formed civilization's foundation. The Code of Hammurabi, 1776 BC, established Babylonian social order through divine justice principles. Though containing unequal class divisions by modern standards, it enabled effective societal cooperation. This solved large-scale governance challenges. Writing and state-building provided foundations for human advancement. Harari observes humanity's historical trajectory toward unification. From 10,000 BC's thousands of civilizations to gradual consolidation. By 1450 CE, Eurasian and African civilizations were deeply interconnected. This network encompassed nearly 90% of humanity. European maritime advancements later connected isolated civilizations like America and Australia to this network. Today's globalization has unified human civilization into an inseparable whole. How did this global unification occur? Harari identifies 3 key drivers: currency, empires, and religion. Around 1000 BCE, the concept of one world first emerged. Merchants, conquerors, and missionaries became its primary propagators. For merchants, every human settlement represented potential markets and clients. Currency systems evolved to facilitate commercial activities across regions. Conquerors envisioned global empires subjugating all territories. Missionaries believed their doctrine should be humanity's universal truth. These forces drove integration across economic, political, and cultural dimensions. This accelerating unification process has created today's global community. Let's summarize our second major question. Why has humanity developed this way? Through the epoch-making agricultural revolution, followed by writing systems, nation-states, and unification through currency empires, religion. Does this complete humanity's story? Not quite. We still have our third and most crucial question. What does humanity's ultimate destiny hold? Clues to our future lie in historical patterns. Human capabilities have transformed dramatically over 5 centuries. Population multiplied 14x, annual productivity 240x, energy consumption 115x since 1500 CE. So where do human societal changes originate? Harari reveals it's humanity's self-determining scientific revolution that shapes our future. Rather than detailing specific events, Harari focuses on the driving forces behind scientific development and its connection to human progress. Let's analyze both internal and external driving forces of the scientific revolution. First, the internal driving forces behind the scientific revolution. Harari identifies this as a fundamental shift in human ideology. The scientific revolution began in 15th century Europe, starting with astronomical discoveries. Pioneers, like Copernicus and Bruno, faced religious persecution for their theories. Our scientific Europe had established religious knowledge systems claiming infallibility. Science differs fundamentally by acknowledging ignorance. This drives exploration. Scientific willingness to correct errors through better theories enabled continuous progress. The concept of progress itself became science's greatest accelerator. For millennia, from ancient Greece to Middle Ages, knowledge remains stagnant with no belief in progress. Science changed this by demonstrating tangible improvements through exploration. Modern faith in scientific progress continues fueling its development. What external forces drive scientific development? As discussed earlier, humanity's unification through currency and empires created necessary conditions. Put simply, merchants and conquerors became crucial drivers of scientific progress through science's alliances with economics and politics, culminating in the Industrial Revolution. Merchants' profit-seeking drove continuous technological innovation. Technological advancement required scientific breakthroughs for support. Economic systems funded scientific research, creating symbiotic growth. European conquerors' territorial ambitions aligned with scientists' exploratory drives. Scientists and conquerors shared the goal of conquering unknowns. 18th–19th century European military expeditions always included scientists. Scientists focused on research, not warfare. Conquerors provided logistical support for scientific studies. Scientific discoveries about local ecosystems aided colonial rule. Modern megacities projects require national-level funding and coordination. The Manhattan Project demonstrates state-powered scientific mobilization. Nuclear technology's development was politically motivated, altering WWII's course. Contemporary nuclear development remains politically driven. Science now permeates every aspect of human society. Most believe science ensures present prosperity and future progress. Yet Harari's future predictions surprise us. He warns scientific advancement could lead to Homo sapiens' demise. Why does Harari make such alarming predictions? He identifies three threatening technologies: genetic engineering, bionics, and inorganic life engineering. Genetic engineering, a familiar term from cloned sheep to potential human cloning, makes genetic modification possible. Human rights groups fear genetic engineering could create superhumans dominating Earth, replacing Homo sapiens as rulers. Bionic engineering might evolve humans into cyborgs. We might acquire extra bionic eyes, arms for enhanced productivity, becoming organoids and organic hybrids. Harari argues such beings would constitute a new species, not true humans. In organic life, engineering could fully simulate consciousness via AI, potentially replacing humanity. Harari's wordings aren't alarmist rhetoric. The Blue Brain Project, 2005, aims to computationally reconstruct human brains. Project leaders claim, with sufficient funding, human-level artificial brains could emerge within 10–20 years. The pursuit of human enhancement and immortality might ironically cause sapiens' extinction. Harari hopes his predictions won't materialize. He suggests changing our trajectory through conscious reflection and ethical action. Addressing scientific risks could ensure humanity's continued existence. From conjugal to agricultural to scientific revolutions, humanity's evolutionary journey. Does this reshape your understanding of humanity's past, present, and future? From ordinary animals to godlike capabilities reshaping Earth. We must consider our ecological responsibilities while exploiting Earth's resources. Collective reflection on humanity's destiny is crucial. Well, that concludes our exploration of Sapiens. A brief history of humankind. Find keynotes below the audio. See you tomorrow.